Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam, and welcome back to the Horror Movie Iceberg podcast, where myself and Russell Howell talk about disturbing horror movies until we tap out. And Russell, you're back, so it looks like we're not tapping out just yet.
No, we're back, and this one really wasn't too disturbing, so we're gonna keep it going for a little bit.
Well, we're still at the top level. As the levels go deeper, it's going to get to places, let's just say. But just for audio listeners, on my lower third here on StreamYard, it says Projector 1, Russell 0. And for context, Russell was supposed to go see Mission Impossible finally, and, well, the projector broke. So Russell, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just not meant to see it just yet. Out of all the movies I've been to, the one that always sticks out to me is Seabiscuit. My father and I went and saw Seabiscuit, and God, this was obviously when it came out, and there was a bad storm, and lost power, and I remember the theater was actually flooding. It was pretty bad. And that was the only time I remember not being able to see a movie because of outside circumstances. You know what I mean? So, it is what it is. I'll get to go see it, but it gets me a chance to talk about this earlier.
I remember going to see Captain America: The Winter Soldier in theaters. The projector cut out for about 15 minutes. There was an entire scene that I never saw until I got the Blu-ray, where Tommy Lee Jones is like, the Red Skull is doing all these kinds of things and we need to stop him. And it leads into the train scene where Bucky dies. Of course he doesn't, but for me, I was like, I actually liked Bucky. This kind of sucks that he's dead now, but boy, 2011 me was way wrong. But that's another story for another time. The projectors just don't work sometimes. It is what it is. But it is what it is in that regard. But as far as that goes, we must get into the iceberg once again. And this movie's not super disturbing. It is disturbing in certain aspects, but it's more of a horror comedy than anything else. It's called What We Do in the Shadows.
When you're a vampire, you become very sexy.
This was released in 2014. It was directed by Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. It stars the two of them, as well as Johnny Berg, or it's Brugh, so Brugh. I'm going to say Brugh. I'm probably way wrong. Corey Gonzalez-Mossier and Ben Francham, among others. And to describe this movie, it's basically like the show The Office, but there is no office, and Jim, Pam, and the rest are replaced with vampires. It's a mockumentary about the lives of vampires. They all live together in modern New Zealand in a apartment together, and it follows their misadventures for about 90 minutes. And for those of you, I won't say this is Taika Waititi's big break. He had directed a movie called Boy a year before this. However, I think just based on where he would go, this is the movie that people first say, oh, this guy is actually really good. And Thor: Love and Thunder withstanding, Taika Waititi has gone from strength to strength.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked all of his stuff. And Thor: Love and Thunder was fun in its own right. It was definitely a different vibe than all the other, all the other Thor films, and kind of different off the beaten path of what he usually brings to the table. But this is the first time I've seen this one. This one also remind me of a early 2000s MTV Real World, only kind of what you said, obviously a mockumentary, Real World or Jersey Shore with just vampires.
I'm low-key a big fan of mockumentaries. I don't think there are a ton of bad ones out there that I've seen. This is Spinal Tap, most things by Christopher Guest, like A Mighty Wind and Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, other things. So mockumentaries are a really underrated subgenre, if you will.
Wasn't Strange Wilderness one too?
Let me check.
I think it was a comedy. I remember Stephen Zahn, I think was it. I remember theaters when it came out. I think Strange Wilderness was like a mockumentary. I want to say. I could be completely wrong.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I remember that was like stupid funny too. And that's just, you have to know, I guess, kind of what you're going for. And if you're doing a mockumentary, you're obviously not taking yourself overly serious. And I think that's why some of those ones work like that. But that one was a pretty funny one. I remember seeing it whenever it came out. It's probably got to be at least it's over 10 years old for sure. It's got to be at least 15 years old, I bet.
I can comfortably say, as far as What We Do in the Shadows goes, it's not my favorite of Taika Waititi's work. It's still Jojo Rabbit by a lot. Like that scene involving Scarlett Johansson. Ooh, like you know the scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it's been a minute, but I know what you're talking about.
So Taika Waititi is very good at his job. Thor: Love and Thunder is just terrible. But I mean, I don't think that one movie should derail the career of a filmmaker unless it's like completely unsalvageable. Taika Waititi is very talented, and I think he will more than recover. Just get him away from Marvel for now. Let him go wild with something like this. Because What We Do in the Shadows works because it's a concept that Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement just take to the like. It's a vampire movie, but like in the real world, and they take it to its most ludicrous degree, and that's kind of why it worked for me.
Did you see the soccer movie he came out with like the last couple years, I think?
Oh, that one. It had Michael Fassbender in it. I can't remember the title. Me in the Future.
That wasn't
poster.
bad. Yeah, you see that one then?
No, I did not.
That one wasn't bad. It's a soccer film. He takes over like a real, or he directed it, but I think it's Michael Fassbender's the one that it stars in it. It's really good. I liked it enough.
Kind of like the Mighty Ducks, but with soccer. It looked like.
Pretty much, yeah. Or like the Bad News Bears insert soccer, yeah.
That's a good point too, yeah. But point is, I like Taika Waititi's work, and I think that this is the one that really set him up. And like he is in this movie as well as Jermaine Clement, and half of the fun of this movie is just seeing these vampires try and act like regular people and failing miserably. They still have their vampire stuff they have to deal with. They still have to drink blood. They can't go outside during the day. Like Peter is literally Nosferatu, not the Skarsgård one with the long mustache, but like the Max Schreck one with the bald and the milky eyes and the fingers. Like Peter's like 5,000 years old in this movie, and it's a whole running joke that like he's the old man of the house. I just love the spirit of that.
And I think it looks a lot better than Nosferatu. The Eggers one, because Eggers' version looks like Borat, and you can't tell me otherwise. I'm just saying.
I liked that Nosferatu quite a bit, but I do agree with you.
Listen, I love the vibe of it. I like the gothic vibe of it. Don't get me wrong. But when I was expecting his first, appearance, I'm like, really? Like, I was so let down. I remember I was so let down by it. I'm like, that's Sacha Baron Cohen. That's not Skarsgård. But yeah.
Kind of looking looking like Uncle Grandpa, but shout out to the few people that get that reference. Point I'm trying to get at is that it's clear that Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement love them some vampire movies. Like Lost Boys is directly mentioned. Peter is Nosferatu. Interview with a Vampire is dropped a couple of times. I feel like there's a couple of references in there that I may have missed, and I love Interview with a Vampire. So if I missed them, I missed them. It is what it is. But if you're a fan of vampire movies, then this takes all the shots in the world, and most of them are done kind of the Mel Brooks school of we're making fun of, but we're also kind of showing that we kind of are big nerds for it at the same time.
Yeah, like the one scene I like is about they were talking about virginity and virgins and about sandwiches.
Oh yeah,
dude, that was hilarious. Yeah. I laughed. I definitely I LOL'd like loud when I was watching that.
Kind of a dark, humorous kind of moment when Taika Waititi's character is trying to like bite his date's neck and try and get her blood, and then he does it, and then the blood just goes everywhere, and she's like convulsing and dying, and then it just
Yeah.
cuts to the aftermath of he's just like this "what have I done" look on his face. I
Yeah.
didn't want to laugh at that, but I did. I feel a little bad about that, but I did.
No, it was funny because it's like he obviously hit the main jugular and it just goes spraying
He
everywhere.
he hit an artery, and I've watched
Yeah.
enough Deadliest Warrior to know that when you hit an artery, it just goes like everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely was funny though, man. Like I said, you got to go into this movie not taking it seriously. They don't. And it's just like it's just a fun, it's just a fun time. It's a perfect length and watch. Like 85
Mhm.
minutes goes by rather quickly. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, it literally comes down to like this. It's the Taika Waititi style of humor. For some, that may not work. I think it worked just fine. But like you said, it didn't need to be longer than 90 minutes, and it comes in at about 86 minutes, which I agree with you. That's just
Yeah.
perfect because
Yeah.
you can only do the like I don't want to see a vampire do taxes. Like I don't want to see a vampire like doing things like that. Like there was a
Yeah.
BBC show called Being Human where a vampire and a werewolf are living together and they have another person who is a ghost and they live in the same apartment. I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips, the whole thing, but I've seen clips and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting idea. But here, what they did and the length of it was more than enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that was just the right amount. I think anything over would have been kind of like beating a dead horse, And I think it being coming in at 86 minutes, I think is just right.
Yeah, there's so much like I kind of want to say I don't want a sequel, even though this movie spawned a TV show that lasted 6 seasons, which shocked me. Like FX just casually just like, here, greenlight 6 seasons of that. Why not? But I feel like this kind of demands a sequel. I mean, Twilight was right there collecting dust, and I don't think they mentioned it even once.
Yeah, they mentioned Twilight in the
Oh,
movie.
they did?
100%.
Yeah.
Remember when the new kid or whatever, he said just like the main guy from Twilight, he talks about it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
missed it. I completely missed it.
No, you're good. Yeah, he's the one that just doesn't shut up about being a vampire. He's
Yeah.
yeah. Craig is the guy he works with, right?
The one, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he mentions it in a bar. I remember he mentions it saying something about, oh yeah, like Twilight, blah blah blah. I'm like the guy in Twilight, the good guy or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, this came out at an interesting time. I need to fact check and see if Vampire Diaries was still going or if it had ended by this point. But I'm just saying there's definitely a lot you could do with a premise like this, and maybe Waititi and Clement just had their references and they just pulled from what they knew, which I totally get. I'm just saying there's a lot in the vampire lore that you can definitely touch on and satirize if you really wanted to.
Well, Vampire Diaries was already 5 years into its run. It started in 2009 to 17, so it was almost wrapping up. So it definitely was
Okay.
relevant for sure.
Okay. I mean, maybe they just weren't watching Vampire Diaries. That's why it wasn't referenced. Who knows? But just in general, I think to put the period at the end of the sentence on this one, this is getting a great rating for me, but a high grade rating. I'm not going full on amazing. I feel like there's just like I don't think I'll go back to rewatch this a ton of times. I'm glad I watched it, but I think in terms of just overall filmmaking and stories, I feel like Taika Waititi has done better other than this.
Yeah, I mean, this was a serviceable film. I think it's middle of the highway for me. I mean, there are some funny scenes in it. It is what it is. It's a mockumentary. It's not to be taken too seriously. I think it's funny enough. Rewatchability, I don't think is really there. I don't think it would be something I would constantly rewatch. Maybe if somebody I know that hasn't seen it and I can watch it with them and see what they think of it. But outside of that, I don't think I would go watch it like out of my way to go watch it just by myself. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. Well, I pass it off to all of you. What did you think of What We Do in the Shadows? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to read what you have to say. And Russell, it's a privilege to do this with you every Friday, no matter if we're in the 60s, the 2000s, or here on the Iceberg. Tell the people where they can find you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Notorious by Chance is on Facebook. You guys can check us there. Check us out. The Notorious by Chance podcast. You guys can also find us at NBC Podcast on TikTok and on X. Kind of been silent, kind of been dormant for a little bit, but we'll swing back into things here. I just kind of needed a little bit of a restart, like just kind of like a little bit of a shutdown there. So we'll restart and get things ramped up again.
Yeah, well, all the links will be in the description. Go give them a subscribe over there. As far as this channel goes, we will return to the 1960s next week. And as far as horror movie Iceberg stuff goes, we're still on the first level of the iceberg, but we're going into more scary stuff, as next time around we will be going into our next franchise and we'll be taking a look at the Wreck/Quarantine franchise. And Russell, I don't know if you've seen the first Wreck, but oh man, you're not prepared for it. So
no, I am not.
That's what we've got to look forward to. We're starting off with easily one of the scariest found footage movie endings that I've ever seen. It is 2007's Wreck, so stay tuned for that. But for Russell, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. Y'all take care.